Hey everybody, I'm Jody-Vance.
Hey everybody, I'm George-Affleck.
We're back.
We're
It's
back.
been ages, George. We have so much to catch up on. I don't even have a promo here. It's time for
It's fun.
honestly, like where to begin.
I mean, we're gonna stick to half an hour, but we had a half an hour, pre-chat, which is unusual for us. But
Yeah.
we got to try and jam it all in here in a half an hour, right? Because
Where
I
do we
gotta
start?
go.
Okay, let's start with the liberal majority now at the federal level that was
Mhm.
not in place when last we spoke. It has unbelievable pearl clutching on the conservative side of the aisle. Oh my God, the illegitimate government.
Yeah.
George.
I mean, I've said this. I do hate backroom deals. But you know, the this is always a challenge. I always the example of leadership campaigns or there's things that happen, but then at the end of the day, people don't care. It's like they don't care as much as politicians do. And and so I think Canadians are probably pretty happy that we have a government that actually can get stuff done because they have a majority now. They don't have to have all this other stuff, which are also quite often backroom deals. If you have a minority government, it's all about negotiating behind scenes to get what you need, walking behind and meeting people in offices and say, okay, how about if I give you this and I give you that? Now it's just like everything is like, okay, you got your majority. We got a lot to do. You got 4 years basically to get it done, max. So get it done. As long as BC gets a conservative governing, we can build some pipelines.
Okay, we're going to get to the BC government in a second, but I just want to talk about because you just nailed it right on the head, and the I think you nailed it right on the head because it's like getting things done. Cue the prime minister this morning, Thursday morning, taking questions from the media after a couple of days ago he had done sort of a state of the economy early straight to camera, just basically saying from his office, saying, I'm going to give you regular updates and I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm going to tell you
Yeah.
what's what. And he reiterated that, the new order is still very much in play and there's going to be pain before gain for Canadians. And we're aware of that, but we're making strides and we're doing things like I'm paraphrasing, but that's kind of what he was saying. That video that he did a few days ago landed on a major US cable network on the highest rated of the shows on said cable network. I was watching Lawrence O'Donnell and I was like, that's Mark Carney. That's not just a clip of Mark Carney. That's a lot of Mark Carney. Like his message is getting out to the, edges of the earth, if you will, because of course the United States is the center of the universe. But then this morning, after the pre-recorded thing a couple of days ago had, again, the Pierre Poilievres of the world just like, he's not taking questions. He took so many questions this morning, George. It was wild while
Yeah.
standing in front of new housing being built. And he's fielding questions in English and French. And he's answering all of the questions like there were no evasive maneuvers. Like he was actually just like, yep, that's what we're doing. And when they're like, well, what about corporate taxes? And he's like, well, let me tell you about how our taxes are lower than most of the G7. And definitely like we're 13% and the US is 17 and the G7 usually double that. And I was sitting there as somebody who's pretty entrenched with this with you and going, I'm learning here.
Mhm.
And that doesn't usually happen when there's just a little back and forth Q&A at a
Yeah.
ribbon cutting. Like I thought it was impressive.
I mean, it continues to suck for the conservatives because the opposition party is really Donald Trump, and so it doesn't really, it gives this opportunity for the liberals to do to have to be to treat them like this other government is the opposition, and it's hard for Poilievre to find his place, and he seems to be safe for now. I think that's unlikely. They don't seem to be willing to give him the boot. But it's really hard for them, the conservatives, to find their place in this process. They've lost any chance now because they had a minority, that they can maybe go to an election. Now they can't, so now they're in a situation where they have to just try and find their wedge issues.
Right.
But I saw a post somebody saying, why didn't Carney run for the conservative leadership? Because we've talked about this. He's doing a lot of things that are quite conservative. And then Poilievre attacks him for not being a good economist. I thought that was bizarre
Right.
angle. Okay,
Oops.
so I think it's really beneficial to
Yeah.
liberals to have this opposition party that is not actually in Canada, and the crazy things they're saying to us because it really makes Canadians galvanize behind the government, which makes them able to do this backroom deal to get this majority, and then be able to. But it's great that he's transparent. I mean, that's having been a politician, I always said whatever. I never cared, and I got a
Exactly.
lot of trouble. I called a murderer by one of my fellow councilors because of the things I
Right.
made decisions about. It's ridiculous, but. You have to be, I believe people want more of that. With all the AI and the robots taking over the world, you know, real human behavior is something that people are going to covet more than ever now.
Well, that's how you and I became friends, frankly, is because I would trust that what you were going to tell me is what you thought, what you had researched, whether we agree on everything is totally separate. I believe that you're coming from a straight shooter kind of when
Yeah,
you were a politician. Now you're just my friend who's a little bit crazy. No, I'm kidding. I'm
that
kidding. I'm
little
kidding. I'm
little
kidding. I'm
show we
kidding.
have for 300 episodes.
I know, like, wow, when you think about how long we've been doing this for. So, okay, so with regard to the prime minister, we can we can go straight to a little bit of Trump here because it's been, I mean,
Well,
you've
because I
been
was in
gone for
Europe.
a month. Yeah,
I
you've
know,
been
and I
gone
was
for
in
a month.
Europe.
What's it? What was it like there?
Yeah, it's well, England, because that's where I was for my daughter's wedding. I would say they're less aggravated than perhaps the rest of Europe about Trump. But there's definitely same kind of conversation, but just the news and everything is still all consumed by Trump. Very little Canadian news, some Carney stuff because of his connection to the UK. So
Right.
you get a lot of Trump, but you get a lot of a lot of Epstein files with Starmer, like what's going on there, and so it's interesting. I think that it's definitely all consuming everywhere. It doesn't, it's the same over there as it is here. They're feeling like, what is going on, and how do we deal with this issue? And of course, we saw the Finnish prime minister talking about Canada being part of the EU, and that happened while I was there. And I'm going, yes,
Let's
unfortunately,
do it.
UK is not part of the EU anymore. But okay, right.
But
What?
it's that northern, the
Yeah.
Arctic alliance,
Mhm.
and we certainly are and should be, you know, part of that. I think
Yeah.
anyway. Like
And then
there's
there's
no
Hungarian elections
downside.
while I was there, which was interesting. And
That was
so it's
massive.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's what America, if they want to get rid of Trump, that's the kind of level of defeat he needs to see, or
Right.
the Republicans or whatever happens then in the fall and in 2 years, if they want to get rid of Trump. If they do 50-50 again,
It's a problem.
it's a nightmare.
Yeah. What was it, 77? It
Yeah, it
was
was up
it
there.
was high 70s, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's, because in the interest of time, I mean, we could talk about the US ongoing for an hour, but we've only got a 30 minutes in this podcast. So let's bring it back to the province here. So
Yeah.
um Premier David-Eby again in some hot water. Just he finds himself, it feels like, on the back foot a lot right
Hmm.
now. What do you see happening in provincial
Well,
politics in the
nobody loves a
moment?
flip-flopper in politics. And how many flips has he flopped in the last couple of weeks related to Drippa? And I, it's just not a strong signal to the people that you have a person that knows that they how to behave as a leader. It's quite polar opposite to what we're seeing in Ottawa. So, he's doomed. It's only a matter of time. But there's a few years before the next election. But I think his own party will oust him before there's an election. So it's only, and you can see the knives coming out and the people that are probably, what's interesting, it's the even people that are further left, which is hard to believe, than him, because he's pretty left wing, way more than the previous premier, and
John
Horgan.
Horgan.
So
Yeah.
it's very bizarre, and you've got this conservative leadership happening.
Before we go
Um,
conservatives, who do
yeah,
you think the
but
heir apparent when you're like even further left? Who are you referencing there? Just
Well, Christine Boyle would
okay.
certainly be running for leadership, I would say, and she's much further left than him.
Okay.
That would be one that would be stand out for sure. I mean, there's others, but it seems like there's this dilemma with regards to so many policies that are here's a guy who probably supports most of those far left wing policies, but he's being pulled. He knows it's not where the province is right now. And so, how does he balance this? How does he keep power? He has a long time left in his mandate as leader. How does he control this balance? The NDP have always had this, the balance of, the environmentalists, the sort of super left wing, and the unions. And quite often, the unions are somewhat right of they're perceived
Blue
as left
collar.
wing, but they know about jobs. Like
Yeah.
that's what they care about. And this
Yeah.
government has not. We're losing so many people to other provinces. We've never, it's the worst it's been in like 50 years in this province. The worst migration out of this province that we've ever seen. It's crazy. This is like people are just running out of this province. It's not this place we used to have like people wanted to come here. Now everybody's running away. What that just says everything you need to know about the lack of leadership in this province. And there's no projects happening. Nothing's happening. There's nothing being announced. It's like it's pathetic, the
We're
leadership in
stuck.
the province.
A little bit stuck, just to say the least. Let's
Yeah.
talk now about the conservative race, where you see things headed in that regard.
Yeah, it's they have leadership races are all weird because there's all this infighting and all this. I signed up 15,000 people. I signed up 10. I signed up whatever. Like, what's it's like, is that
Nobody
real?
cares. Nobody
Nobody and
cares.
nobody knows until the end, how many they signed up, and they're just trying to scare everybody else and get people to drop out if they think, oh, I can't get that many, I'll just leave. And so there's this gamemanship that happens during a leadership campaign, and we see front runners that were front runners 2 weeks ago that now aren't front runners. It's like it's very interesting, and I don't think, and I sort of predicted the three front runners, which continue to be three front runners, but I would say that
Okay, name them.
well, I think obviously you're Fulmer, and then obviously Ian Black, and then Catherine. Oh my God, the
Elliot,
Elliot. Thank you.
you're welcome.
Um, so at this point, it's really between those three, and I would say that if it's a ranked ballot, which I believe it will be, which is always interesting because you choose your first, second, and third, and so you end up sometimes with the person that wasn't the one they chose. If Yuri Fulmer, say, is the current front runner, but he doesn't get 50% in a ranked ballot in the first vote, then it's anybody's game. And this is how,
Right.
we ended up with the BC Liberals, we ended up with, not the people that we wanted. So it's one of those bizarre. This is why pro rep is like one of those ultimate things because I'm like, who it shouldn't be
Who?
first past the post.
What? Right.
So,
Should
anyways, it'll
we
be.
vote
I
for
think in
somebody?
the end, I would say today, I would say Ian Black is the most likely, but I would say that I'm not going to put money on that
Right. Who knows in this
because of that
crazy
rank
world we
ballot.
live
If they
in?
do that,
Yeah.
yeah.
Rank balance are so hard to predict.
Yes.
Um, Predictions on municipal elections coming up faster than anybody really expects. It's like we're tiptoeing into May and all of a sudden it's going to be October. Like it
Yeah.
like Jimmy Kimmel likes to say, I can't believe it's already October 1st. So we're in campaign season. The cookies are starting to be handed out.
I
Doug McCallum's going to run in Surrey.
think he could win.
Do you?
Yes, always. That guy.
Always.
I talk about this all the time. The as much as have everybody has problems with him, and he isn't always clear in some ways that you might be want a person to be clear. He knows how to take a couple of positions and just resonate with voters,
Plow
whatever
them
those might
through.
be.
Yep.
And he did it last time, and he's done it before. I mean, this guy's been around since I was a kid, so
Same.
yeah. I mean, I never underestimate that guy. So and I think they have this situation where they have potentially it's anybody's game in this next election. They'll have three strong candidates running for mayor. So we'll see what happens. But I wouldn't I wouldn't underestimate it for sure.
All right. Well, Surrey's a big, big ticket. Kirk LaPointe, our
Oh
good
yeah.
friend Kirk LaPointe's running in West Van for mayor there. Of
Yeah.
course, Brad West is doing his Brad West. He's just standing there
Yeah.
telling people he's getting stuff done in Port Coquitlam. No one's running against Brad West ever.
No. And
It's,
there's a new
yeah,
political party in Delta. I saw that. That's always
yeah.
interesting. Following the Vancouver model, which
Hmm.
is becoming more of approach for local government. So, and then in
Wild.
Vancouver, yeah, cookies. You're right. Like, what was it?
Cookies.
400 million
Community
for community
centers.
centers.
Yep.
Their 0% tax increase again for next year, already predicted by the mayor. He's not going to do another 0% next year. Sure. We'll see. And then
What
their
about the leaky
gas
roof?
town.
Like, wasn't the roof caving in? Like, is that all fixed?
Yeah.
Like anyway, just before we move on from the community centers, I
Mhm.
love the community center upgrades and repairs because our community centers are beyond dilapidated. They have been horrifyingly left to their own devices and just become places that the community doesn't necessarily want to go.
Yeah.
And there is a 25-meter pool at Sunset. It's a very expensive puddle.
25. I think my pool in my strata
25
is bigger than that.
meters. I mean, what are we doing? I thought we were a world-class city. That's insane. And
And
the excuse is, well, it's going to be too expensive. Well, we have a 137.5 meter pool, like 3 kilometers from there, that we can't get into because it's gate kept and reserved by people days in advance. Like this 25-meter pool is going to be for who exactly? Because if
dig a bigger hole. Dig a bigger hole.
dig a bigger hole and
We need a
actually
bigger hole here.
like make it so you can use it for events, make it so you can use it for training, make it a 50-meter pool means swim clubs could use it, with wetsuits on, and they
Here's
would.
what I would do. I would
What would you
announce
do,
that
George?
Vancouver in 20 years wants to have more Olympians coming from swimming than any other city in Canada, and we're going to make that happen through our pool system in Vancouver. So in the next 10 years, we're going to build 4 Olympic-sized pools so that
Love
we
it.
can get the most coveted swimmers in the city to come here and become Vancouverites and make us world renowned for the quality of Olympians that we churn out through our pool system. And do it
George
like,
Affleck for mayor. George for mayor. George for mayor. Um, the cleanup is underway in a epiphanal way right
yes.
now in the city of Vancouver. Like
I, I just
what
saw another
happened?
cleaning. I just saw another cleaning thing go down the bike lane. That's the second day in a row. What?
Why could we
Go
not
down.
do this when it's not FIFA? Why could we not do this before? Why couldn't this just be the thing that we do in the city before we do anything else? How about we clean up the city?
Yeah. I mean, what do you say to that? Duh. Like, why not? Like,
Duh.
what's happening? Like, why is this so hard? How much is it going to cost? I mean, it'll be interesting. Let's say, okay, we do this 2-month campaign of cleaning. Okay, and it looks beautiful. Now we know the cost. Now build a budget. Let's start with a budget from zero and say
Right.
cleaning is going to cost. Let's start cleaning is going to cost this much money, and then this is going to cost this much money. But let's start with keeping our city clean as a budget line item, and then work our way down from there. Because I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure everybody in Vancouver will be like, "Thank you." And if you're
Please
not
clean
that
up the
person, then
feces off the
yeah,
street.
please
Please,
make it
please clean
even
off the
bike lanes. Make it so I
graffiti.
don't wipe out on my bike on the
Yeah,
bike lane.
right. All of it. All of it. It's wild to me that because the excuse was like, why is there graffiti absolutely everywhere 6 years after the end, like the pandemic, or let's say
Yeah.
conservatively 5 years later, and we're still like, it's
Why is there still
everywhere.
stickers on the city sidewalks
Yeah,
with lineups for
distancing.
it's like, and why is
Come
there
on,
like on Pacific Avenue, there's like this brick area and it's like it's pathetic. There's like so much it's just like you look at like
gross.
Amanda's mom tripped and smashed herself because the sidewalk was so badly maintained by the city. Get it together.
And you know what? We're not maintaining the city. And listen, sports fans, listen, I love all sports. Like you just said about swimmers, bring it. I want to be high level, bring it. I love the Whitecaps. I hope they stay. There's lots of rumors about them being they are for sale. Will they be moved? Like that's a huge like, please don't. Um, while we're growing in the PWHA and we've got the rise, we got like so much happening that's good, 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 good. Um, Private enterprise should be in charge of those uh, larger major league level sports
Hmm.
team. And I just saw a press release go out from the city of Vancouver, and Mayor Ken Sim is putting forward the motion to
Uh,
bring a Major League Baseball team here. And, sure, um,
I
clean the
don't think we
city,
get to
clean
decide that.
the city, clean the city.
If we, yeah, clean the
Build
city.
a pool that everybody can access. Like, come
We
on.
can't even keep a soccer team, let alone try to get a
I
baseball team
know.
here.
I
I mean,
know.
come on. It's a bit, and this whole, it's gotten so expensive to have a major league. I would say that's very nice, but that's a total PR exercise, 100%. And
Right?
as much, and I don't follow sports, but
He wrote in the, or they wrote in the press release about how, well, it is, private investment would be a part of it. They're coming to us at the city because there's 17 locations for a new stadium to be built in the city of Vancouver. It's like, okay, we
really?
have, yeah,
Where? In the city?
exactly. Well, how much was the P&E? Like,
Oh,
we've got one venue that's now in the billions of dollars. Like, come on,
yeah. And
come
it's
on.
not even got walls on it.
I know. So we digress. There's a lot. there. I've got a couple of park board things that I've got to get off my chest. I just saw something move this morning that the park board is now working on ferries to Bowen Island and the Sunshine Coast.
Why?
The park board have lost the plot. It's wild.
Well,
Like
are they
what?
talking about having locations for ferries to dock at our, because they manage the marinas,
Yeah,
some marinas, so maybe that's what it's about.
maybe. Let me see.
I mean, but there is a beautiful dock right down down in front of the waterfront there that, ferries could go from there, but I think it's been tried many times. There used to be a ferry
Exactly.
from Granville Island to Bowen Island that took a couple times. That was fun, but they couldn't make
That
any
was
money off
fun.
it. They couldn't make any
Mm-mm.
money.
I can't find it.
You know how much gas costs to take a boat to Bowen? It's like
The
800
ferries
bucks.
going to the Vancouver Island don't even work. We have so much to fix before we just, lean into the new thing. I think that's what gets me. I'm officially old and I'm like, back in the olden days. Come on, come on. Okay, so talking a little bit about impacts of the US, and since we last spoke, there's been more conversation about the level of people crossing the border into the United States, that's down 30%. We've got border states that are, you know, screaming at the government, their government, to say, you know, we're dying here because we count on Canadians coming here and spending their money here. And the argument of the Howard Lutnicks of the world saying, well, they won't even sell our booze on their shelves. It's like, yeah, we're making a point. We're not the bad guys here. It started with the guy in the Oval Office. So in talking about that whole ball of wax, we were talking about the Epstein files when you left, and then you departed, and now we have a war in Iran. Like,
Yes, that happened since I've been gone. Well, I guess so. Yeah.
just
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
I
we
know.
haven't really had a chance.
Yeah, the world's falling apart. What do you do? I
What do
mean,
you do?
the amount of naiveness, but where he's playing 5D chess, we don't, and what did I see? I think it was Dean Cain. Is it Dean Cain, the former
Yeah,
Superman guy?
yeah. Oh
And
man.
he's a big Trumper, and he's like, Trump's playing 5D chess. We'll see how the dominoes fall.
Oopsies.
You're
Mix
like,
those up a little
not
bit.
only, I think that was on Jon Stewart. He said that. I was like, oh my God, that is classic. Like, not only are you making up metaphors, you're mixing them up.
Totally.
5D
And then
chess.
you've got like the Tucker Carlsons and Megan
Oh yes.
Kellys
Okay,
and
I hear
Marjorie Taylor Greene.
this
Tell
is
me.
he's announced his presidential candidates. That's what he's doing this week. Tucker Carlson and talking about how I made a mistake. I shouldn't have. Like this is positioning. Like this guy's running for president in 2028. 100%.
Oh, I
100%.
never thought of that, George.
100%. This is his campaign start. And he has enough money now from his network. Like he's rolling in cash. He's got
Right.
Elon Musk's support. You know,
Marjorie Taylor Greene is vice president, or Joe Rogan,
well, I don't think Joe
or
Rogan's
Megan
doing, but
Kelly.
you okay. Marjorie Taylor maybe, but it's hard to say. But definitely,
Oh
she's
man.
gunning also to run for the leadership. So it's going to be interesting.
And
I
you know
think
what's interesting about that? Just as you're saying, like he's going to run for president for sure, because there are some on the left, the Democratic side of the aisle, who are looking at Tucker Carlson's mea culpa, like he's going to have to live with this. I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to. What was the word he used? Influence? No,
well,
confuse. I didn't mean to impact or influence.
mhm.
Of course he did. Like, right, of course he did. But Democrats are some, not all, not the ladies on the View, but some Democrats are like, we got to give MAGA people an off ramp to say they were wrong or that they were misled. That's what he was looking. He was like, I
No, what
didn't
no,
mean to
what
mislead any. Like,
what
yes, you
Marjorie Taylor
did.
Greene, yeah, no, but what Marjorie Taylor Greene and Tucker Carlson are doing is feeding into the traditional base that is MAGA and saying, you thought you got MAGA through Trump, but he's betrayed you. I will come back to you with the traditional MAGA
Right.
uh, goals and bring it back on and get it back on track. And
Right.
that's what their messaging will be. And if Democrats can't find a leader that resonates better than Tucker Carlson right now, this guy is probably, and Marjorie Taylor Greene are absolutely dominating the press as far as, how they can message themselves and how they portray themselves. It's going to be tough for the Democrats to win in 2028.
So since you've been gone, uh, Pam Bondi's out,
Yeah,
right? So she's out. Now Cash Patel is up to his eyeballs in people being concerned that he's just partying all the time. Um,
right.
Allegations of him literally drinking on the job, which
You should never drink.
you're the
Never
FBI
never
director.
drink as a politician in
I
public. If you
know. I mean,
Ken Sim
and
learned that
then
too.
he certainly did. Um, and then what else have we got there?
Nobody wants to see a politician drinking or shotgunning a beer or in a dunk tank. Two rules
No,
in politics.
two rules: no dunk tank.
I don't need to
No,
see your flabby gut as a dude.
no, no.
You know,
Um,
even if in your t-shirt, I don't want to see you, dude. In a way,
Speaking of t-shirts, I don't know if you've noticed, but Ken Sims always in a suit now. He's suit and tie
yes.
guy. Yeah.
Yep,
So,
the remake. I mean, I think he's
yeah.
going to win, but
Do you?
correction. Well, I think that you've got this collusion between the three other parties that bugs me. Cope. We talked earlier about the conservatives being mad about the liberals getting a
Yeah.
majority, but here
Yeah,
we
yeah, yeah.
have why is it okay for the Cope, Green Party, and OneCity to collude into running a certain number of candidates so that they can try and get control of council? What is that all about? Like, are you a party or not a party? Like, run your candidates, but to actually announce that you've colluded together to game the system, like bullshit. No, you either are a one party or not a party. Go away if you're not. Like, wrap it up. Throw it out. Come on. Like that's bullshit. And I think that that's going to benefit. And then you got the liberals. He's trying to, whatever that Vancouver liberals is. I don't know. They might, but they're too left. So they're left wing. You just got nobody on center right. So at this point, I mean, Colleen Harvick, I don't know where she is on this political spectrum, but I would say, she gets her 14,000 votes. That's it. I think Ken
Right.
Sim should have no problem if we see this mesh up on the left and center left, because right now there's nobody that I see coming. Certainly, the Vancouver Conservatives, that I haven't seen anything since they sort of said they were arriving. Now there's
Yeah.
nothing happening, so I'm assuming they've pulled back. So you've got ABC as a right center right party. Uh,
Isn't Rebecca Bly center right?
no, she's left.
Is she?
100%. Yeah, she's center
Oh,
left
okay.
based on all the things
I
that
thought
she.
she was Ken Sims like
Yeah,
2IC kind of
no, but she
right.
left the party because of his decision on the housing on the downtown east side, which I think most Vancouverites are supporting the decisions by this part, the ABC thing. Enough is enough. The downtown east side is not working. You want to keep it the way it is? No. Anybody who says keep it the way it is, you're toast in Vancouver in this next election. You're toast. Don't even bother running. Like
And the
seriously,
youth vote's going to get Sean Orr is going to get a bunch of youth because it's
youth
trendy.
don't vote. You can dream that the young people will show up. I'm sorry, kids. You try, please do, but they
Yeah,
don't.
right,
It's age 20% of 20-year-olds, 30% of 30-year-olds, 40% of 40-year-olds, 50% of 50-year-olds, 60% of
right.
60-year-olds. That's what shows up. So,
Which is why the politicians typically cater to the oldest of their demographic
which
and
is why
available to
Dunbar
vote.
gets a community center, and like the announcement of where
Right.
these community centers would be are 100% demographic on who votes in
Yeah.
the next election.
Yes. Well, it's going to be a trip this next number of months. And you got to stay tuned to Unspun podcast every Thursday. Are we back every Thursday? Are you back?
I'm
Or
back, baby.
okay, you're back. You're back. I'm leaving for a little bit in June, but it won't be long, I promise. So
Yes.
we'll
We
figure
might take
that out.
August
But
off. Usually we do, right? Usually we take August off.
usually we do take August off.
We'll see.
Okay, so you know what? Check this space. Better yet, go to unspunpodcast.com and get on our email list. We do not spam, right? We don't. We don't
I
spam a
don't,
llama ding dong. You do not. George does it all.
because I'm the one
George does it
sending
all.
the
He
emails.
does it all. I do nothing but show up on Thursday and talk and cut him
Um,
off regularly. But I am good at the wrap up.
and keeping
Uh,
me under control. That's his other thing.
I try. Unspunpodcast.com is where you go and you can like and subscribe. You can comment. You can share with your friends. And we might have some interesting news about the podcast coming in the next couple of weeks. So stay tuned on that front as well. There's your teaser.
Bye-bye.
Follow on Twitter at
Oh,
George
yes, all that stuff. So underscore.
George_Affleck on Twitter. I'm at jody-vance, Jody with a Y, at jody-vance. Follow us there. We'll lead you to unspunpodcast.com because we are guiding our community with cutting through the noise news, right?
You know it.
See you
Bye.
later.